From zero to $266,000 in the first 74 days building a brand from scratch. What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris Conradi, and for those of you who do not know me, this is actually my first video right here on the YouTube channel. I've been getting a lot of requests inside of my Facebook group to start a YouTube channel and to start putting out content talking about the strategy and what exactly I'm doing inside of my day-to-day business to make this happen. The shift that I made going from general drop shipping and sourcing from China to actually building a reputable brand and seeing success with it. And for those of you wondering, profit margins for this, for the first 74 days, are around 20%. So about $55,000 of profit after transaction fees, advertising, cost of goods, everything. And this is actually my third store. I've been doing this for a little over a year now, and I started to see a lot more success when I decided to capitalize a lot more heavily on building a brand. So great customer service, faster shipping times, custom packaging, all of this focused on one specific niche. This year I'm actually planning on scaling the business to 7 figures, projecting $2 million in sales by December. Now what I want to tell you guys is that this stuff is possible for anybody. I believe that right now is one of the greatest times in history to be an entrepreneur, to become insanely successful online. Just over a year ago, I was working 3 jobs. I was going to school full time before I found out about e-commerce, before I found out about Shopify, which is what I'm using right now. And just to give you some perspective, I mean, just this month, we're about 8 days into the month as I'm recording this right now in January, and we're about to hit $30,000. I don't know if you can see that, about $30,000 in sales. So we'll probably do between $150,000, $200,000 just this month in sales. And that's crazy. We're, like I said, living one of the greatest times in history to become an entrepreneur and to have insane success with this and to be able to run a multi-6-figure business from the comfort of your own home. It's 2018 and a lot of people are finding out about e-commerce, they're finding out about Shopify, and they're finding out how lucrative it can be if you do it the right way. So I think that this year for 2018, brand development is going to be key. That is going to separate you from everybody else and give you that big blue ocean to be able to work with, which we'll talk about a little bit later on in this video. It's a lot harder now to close a customer than it was a year ago, at least in my experience. I know with influencer marketing, it has completely changed. It's way different than how it was a year ago. I started off with just influencer marketing, and I was able to throw up a product and get instant sales and do really, really big numbers off these shout out posts. But now everybody's doing shout out posts. So again, this just leads back to branding and looking reputable, because customers now are a lot more aware than they were, say, a year ago. What we're going to do is we're going to hop on over to my computer right now, and I'm going to break down for you some of the fundamentals for what exactly I've been doing inside of my business and building a brand so that you can apply it and implement it into your own business. So let's hop on over. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and dive into it right now. We are at my computer screen, and before we dive into the strategy behind what I'm doing in my business and everything about branding, I want to go over the numbers one more time. About $266,000 in the first 74 days of building this brand. And this right here, what we're looking at is what I consider the startup phase. We started September 12th, and this right here, this goes all the way up until November 25th, which is Black Friday. You can see we did almost $24,000, and the day after we did about almost $7,000. Actually killed the marketing halfway through. So leading up to this point right here, we actually did have to kill the marketing for a minute to expand the team. I had to expand the team very quickly to help fulfill orders and go through customer service. Black Friday completely blew expectations. I think we spent about $1,600 on Facebook ads that day and sent out a total of 3 emails. So the return of investment was absolutely crazy. So again, what we're looking at right now, number-wise, is what I consider to be the startup phase of the business. So the traditional way of building a store, let's go over that real fast here. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so that you guys can go ahead and see this, and this is going to help me transition into my next couple points. So the traditional way of building a store is adding a bunch of fluff product and importing from AliExpress, which includes product descriptions, images, everything like that, and you have the concept of a general store in mind. So it usually has the word trendy in it, or gear, like gear bubble, trendy stuff. There's a really popular general store called Next Deal Shop, something like that, with product being imported from AliExpress. And what happens is when you build this general store, generally you're going to test a couple different products per day or per week. I know a lot of people that are testing around 5 products per day until they find a winner. So what they're doing here is they're inside of a continuous cycle, always adding new product to the store and testing that product on Facebook until they find a winner that actually has scalability. And then driving traffic, making sales, and then sometimes, I know a lot of people that are not, I know people, including in my group, that are not implementing this, and to them, this is a little bit more complex beyond what they're already doing, and that's email marketing and retargeting, where the actual revenue, where the actual really good profit comes from, that money on the back end. Now, there is nothing wrong with this concept right here. Absolutely nothing wrong. This is what I did for the first 8 months of building my stores. This is what actually allowed me to leave my day jobs. This is the perfect place to start as a beginner, but I think it is not the place where you are supposed to stay. As you build up cash flow, you have more money to reinvest into your business and to build something bigger and better. I got bored with this concept. Customer loyalty was not there. The email open rates were not strong enough. Most people they weren't familiar with the brand. They weren't tagging us on Instagram. They weren't telling their friends, and their friends weren't coming to us organically like they are now. I didn't like that. And not just that, selling my first store, I sold it for about $15,000, but I knew I could have gotten so much more than that. Being in 2018 right now, building a brand is ultimately what will separate you. It's more complex now to be able to get that purchase, to be able to close that sale. Like I said, you have to work a little bit harder for it. So now that we have this in mind, where did the actual transition happen from building an actual traditional store to building a brand, and what am I focusing on right now? Before I dive into that, I just want to clarify, I am not going to be able to go over everything inside of just this video. It would take me hours, probably even days. It's going to be broken up over a series of several videos on this channel where I pretty much talk about everything that I'm doing inside of my business that you can go ahead and implement. What I'm giving you right now is really an overhead look at what is going on, how I started, and really leading up to what I'm doing right now. So let's transition into that right now. 0 to 266K in the first 74 days. What I'm focusing on is print on demand, which might even be a shock to some of you. Some of you, it might not be. Print on demand is super popular right now. Really, I like print on demand because there's virtually no saturation to it, because you can keep coming up with design after design after design, and people are always going to wear clothing. And when I say print on demand, don't think of just t-shirts. Think of think of hoodies and backpacks and phone cases, everything like that, not just t-shirts. And if you think about products like that, people are always going to need them. People are always going to buy phone cases and hoodies and backpacks, which makes this perfect if you hit that passion niche. So the benefits of print on demand, I highlighted right here, is you have fast shipping times, depending on your supplier you're working with, your fulfillment center. You have custom packaging, and like I said, virtually no saturation. The cool thing about custom packaging is it gives you a really good opportunity to capitalize on your brand. Whether you have your logo outside in the box, you have custom pack-ins inside, or you have an actual box really that shows off your brand. You have your logo on the actual box as opposed to the shipping slip. So let me give you an example of a couple different print-on-demand stores. So we have right here shoploganpaul.com. This is a super popular one. Logan Paul pretty much used his personal brand to put this one together right here, and I'd love to know the numbers on this store right here. They have to be absolutely crazy, but you can see that we have everything on here from hoodies to t-shirts. We have right here, we have leggings, we have backpacks. And you can see it's a very clean website. This is kind of interesting right here, where it says #BeAMaverick. It makes you feel a part of something. It's not just an ordinary website where you go and buy something. It's almost as if Logan Paul has built a cult-like following. He's created a movement. So when I buy a t-shirt from here, I'm not I feel a part of something. I can use this hashtag on Instagram, and I can see everybody else tagging Maverick by Logan Paul, and it gives you a really good feeling. You have their Instagram right here, where they're pretty much showing off the purchases and everything on the website. If you go and look at, this is another one that I pulled up right here, Republic of Equal, another print-on-demand website. I actually found this one on the Shopify exchange, where it shows different stores for sale. And you can see, once again, it's print-on-demand all around one central niche. And that's actually something I forgot to go over. What I'm focusing on right now is not just print-on-demand, but one niche, one passion niche that I can focus on, that I can build an email list for, that I can build out social media for, one niche. And you can see right here that their niche is equality. And if I wanted to, I could go read more about it. If I click the button right here, this is why. And this is absolutely amazing right here, because stories like this are what captivate people. Things like this are what make people feel a part of something, feel a part of a movement. And ultimately, this right here, this is what makes a brand, is this story right here. That's really all a brand is. One more website I do want to look at. This one here is a little bit more complex. It is loveyourmelon.com. And you can see right here, there's these hats with pretty much logos that are printed right on the hats that says Love Your Melon. And like I said, a little bit more complex approach to print on demand. But one of the really big things I do want to point out is the fact that they have a mission statement. They have a story on here. They talk about how the product is made. This right here, this is all what contributes to building a brand. This is what really ultimately separates you from everybody else that might be selling this exact same thing. So just a few websites to take a look at. We'll dive into this a little bit more later on in future videos. And Daniel Wellington as well. Daniel Wellington, first couple years, I think the first 2 years, they did about $200 million in revenue from just Instagram influencers. And the biggest thing about them is that they have this sensational brand story that captivates customers. It's absolutely amazing. Go and look into Daniel Wellington. They're really big on Instagram, thrive off influencer marketing. So prior to starting the store that I have right now, I found 2 or 3 similar websites in the same niche, and I pretty much modeled them. So I looked at their ad strategy, what the layout was like on their website, what their social profiles looked like, their targeting, what their Facebook ads looked like. I looked at everything. So for example, if you want to model a dog subscription website, you would look at websites like BarkBox and PupBox, and you would go, and I highlighted this right here, you would look at how do they post on their social media. Well, first off, they're not just posting all products. Their feeds are not clogged up with just product posts saying, hey, come and buy this product. They are also telling a story on their social media. They are telling their customers and prospective customers what they are about. And again, that's ultimately what is going to captivate customers and prospective customers. And then order a box for yourself. This is really big. One of the big things I do with any website that I am trying to model is I always make an order with them. I see what their packaging is like, what kind of email automation funnel I'm thrown into. I look at what the shipping times are like. And not just that, I look at what the customer service is like. I dissect these companies, and I don't copy, but I implement and model what I see to be working for them into my own business. So diving into the first month, we used nothing but influencers to generate traffic and sales. So there was no cold traffic. There was no cold traffic from Facebook. The only Facebook ads we had running at that time were retargeting ads, which is an absolute must, especially if you're doing influencer marketing and you have all that traffic coming to your website. But that's a different story. We used influencers to get us data on what we can improve on the website. How much do we up the price? What is our winning product? We tested several different products that first month with influencers, which pretty much gave us our winning product to use on Facebook, which is absolutely killing it right now. Influencers give you data. It's a great place to start if you don't have money to initially invest into using Facebook ads and starting out with $5, $10 a day ad sets. Influencer marketing, you can throw $50 into the tank and see an immediate response and make adjustments right then and there. So cash flow, we were able to reinvest those earnings and we were to keep growing. This is lucrative if you do it the right way. We now have an Instagram with over 100,000 followers. I consider this a cash asset. So if we lose our
stream of traffic from Facebook, we can immediately go straight back over to Instagram because we have a Rolodex of influencers that we can use. We have an Instagram with 100,000 followers that we can use. So it's great for data and building up what I call a cash asset. It also gave us customer reviews, which is great for the conversion rate. And with working with micro influencers, I highlighted right here, we were able to get a lot of photos that we could use on the website to showcase what the product looked like in real action. And it was great because we can say on the website, hey, this micro influencer featured this product in front of their audience of, say, 50,000 followers. It was really, really good. It was really great credibility. And then with all of that, all the sales we got that first month and all the traffic we got, we were able to build our first look-alike audience. And that's what we used at the beginning of October for Facebook ads. And it did really, really well. And we just kept building off of that and scaling that. That first month, we also developed a brand story. Who are we and what are we about? And why exactly are we doing this? What differentiates us from everybody else? Put some time into this, hire a copywriter if you have to, make it look good. We also bought a paid theme instead of using the actual free theme over on Shopify. The free themes are good, but we wanted something a little bit more, a little bit better that fits our brand, that had photos that stood out a little bit more. It had Instagram feeds at the bottom of the homepage. So we went ahead and also bought a paid theme. We created an email marketing funnel the first month. Our goal is to get it to 20% of our revenue. So if we make $150,000 per month, we want 20% of the revenue coming from email marketing. We're getting there slowly right now. And then lastly, growing the Instagram and the Facebook, which we consider cash assets, telling a story on there and really just building up a following. Instagram is perfect right now because Instagram's on the rise. And if you lose that stream of traffic on Facebook, you can hop back on over to Instagram. And it's also great social proof for showing people how many followers you have and people using your products and people tagging you on Instagram. So building those cash assets is something we really focused on in the first month. So second and third month, this is where we really started to elevate a lot more of the branding measures. So for instance, we purchased a logo. When we first started this business, it was something really, really simple. It was actually done for free, put on the website, and that was it. Now we have more cash flow, more profit to work with. So we spent about $400 on a really, really nice logo that was able to be printed on the packaging. So the pack-ins, the packing slip, and the actual packaging itself, depending on the fulfillment center that we are working with. After that is when we really started to build out the team and hire VAs, automate this business so that I myself can work on this, pretty much just work on the business and focus on growth instead of working inside of the business. A few things we focused on, I highlighted right here, is great customer service and pretty much training these VAs on what is expected of them. So making sure that customers are responded to within 24 hours. And hey, if they're unsatisfied, make them happy, because that should be number one with building a brand, is resolving customer issues and making sure that there are fast response times. And also creating a group chat. So I have a group chat for ordering, for customer service, and pretty much for the whole team in general, so that we can all stay on the same page. And if there's an update, everybody can be aware of it at the same time. Upwork is a phenomenal place to find VAs. That's actually where I initially started, was Upwork, and there's a few other ones, but Upwork is a great place to start. That's an overhead look, guys, at pretty much the start of the business and what happened after that. And pretty much after that first month is when it really started to see that growth. And I want to talk about a lot more of this in upcoming videos. So please be sure to leave a like on this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below telling me what exactly you want to see in upcoming videos. If you have not yet, go ahead and join the Facebook group. I'll leave a link right down below this video. Besides that, I'll see you guys in the next video.